Thanks, Alexis.
Hi, everyone. 11 a.m. EST. Time for Mike and me. Mike, before we get going, I have a very important announcement to make to my followers and people that know me. It's really with the greatest pride I'd like to announce how humble I've become.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm very prideful about my humbleness, and I want to make sure everyone knows
I'm as cocky as ever.
That fall before, pride before the fall. I'm very proud. Anyway,
what was the catalyst? As long as you're going to segue with that.
Well, I've been pretty hot.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I want to just start off with update the viewers on the trade call made yesterday on my stream. And I felt that the dollar, I had some evidence that the dollar had really done a lot, and I thought it was time for some type of scalp fading the dollar. I made the right trade selection. I bought the pound at 21.43, so I had a little bit of a drawdown, 33 pips, and then 30 pips, and I've taken 50 already. And what I mean about the trade selection is I thought euro pound would head down, which it did. It did this coming back today. So the pound was my preferred short. If I had bought the euro at the same time that I bought the pound, which, would have been in here.
Coach, I was off a couple of hours, costing me 6 figures, believe me.
Yeah, that's what it does. Or the wrong, the wrong issue in the right sector, or
right
the
church,
wrong sector.
You're a Catholic, for right church, wrong pew.
Yeah. So anyway, I have break-even stops now, 21.40. I'll let it go into the end of the week. I think that even if it's not a real long-lived rally, that we could see 123 in this. And we also have to be open to the fact that the dollar may have peaked. I don't know if we're lower on the week yet, but I was a day early on that, but gutted it out.
That's true.
The yen is still giving me heartburn, but let's see what we would need to.
Coach, in that situation, when you've been trading well with the heartburn, would you take some off on that yen trade? Would you take? I mean, you've had some wins.
I always do.
So what were you going to do in the yen trade? Even how will the heartburn abate? What's the plan there?
The yen is, I said I'd scale up to 150. Okay, I'm risking the all-time. I'm risking this high, 51.94. Okay. That's my bet. We're not going to take it out. If we do, there's something else going on. And part of the reason for this is, even though yields surprised me to the upside, and they surprised me by breaking through this trend line here. I'll show you. It's a throw over. You've seen these trends where, you have a line that's containing it, and then it gaps it. I've talked about throwovers for over a year or so.
With that, it's how it finishes. That might not finish the way it looks. That's correct. With the throwover segue.
Yeah, so we have to get back under the 455 level to get back inside the channel, and I think that would be a pretty good signal. So even with yields up, the dollar is coming off a bit. So that's been part of the headwind for the market, yields being the other part. So the market really should make hay if these events are happening. I know people in the S&P talking about that we completed here. And even I know bears that are saying we completed the first wave down. Well, the bulls are saying this is ABC, the bottom's in, and we're going to be off to the races. I still think there's lower lows coming. I still think 3,900, but I could see a rally with the dollar coming off back to 43.5, 44, which to me is a selling opportunity. Go ahead.
Is it all technicals based upon your price targets, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, there are certain things like, I
know you point macro headwinds all the time. That's why I'm asking. I don't mean you to be redundant, but that's why you're here, to give the bigger picture.
Yeah. Well, I look at things like, I forecasted China would retaliate against an iconic company here in the US, namely Apple. So that's not technical.
Right.
We have this shutdown coming.
Right.
I think it's a guarantee, and people are saying it's no big deal. The country will run better without the government being open, right? So there's a lot of recency bias that it's no big deal. They'll work it out. They'll kick the can down the road, and these guys could be right. Or if they don't have a shutdown and the market gets a relief rally, it's still my contention that the 4,200 is a battleground. And the only thing that bothers me is everyone's looking for 4,200. And sometimes when you have one number everyone's looking for, either it never achieves it, like could be this
Well, it could
scenario right
overshoot.
here,
It could overshoot like your
or
previous yen. Yeah.
or it will melt
Pardon.
through that number. And I'm actually looking for 3,900. Remember I said 4,200 by mid-October. Maybe I was a little bit too
When you make
conservative.
those type of calls, you're usually going to be wrong before right. That's what
Yeah.
happens when you expand parameters.
So what I want to know, I think I've covered everything. Let me, the dollar's weaker, and you would think that that would support gold. No way. Look at that. Gold's down $14 with a weaker dollar.
Well, that's
All
why
right.
price action trumps sentiment.
Yeah. So,
And by the
people
way,
thought,
I was in the shower. I meant to ask you something. This is well, coach, come on. You had to
All right.
giggle like that. What are we in fourth grade?
Yeah.
The stocks have been leading the commodities, both on oil and gold. No,
Yeah. Yeah. And,
the first question I asked you.
yeah. And, the stocks are starting to dig in their heels a little better. I did say that GDX would take out the 27 double bottom. There you go. All right. So I only think we're about, 200 point. I'm looking for about 24 here, but they're starting to dig in their heels a little better, but not enough
Wouldn't you say
for
that's
me.
short covering instead of the bottom fishing?
I think they're in liquidation mode, that people are
I agree.
just,
I agree.
throwing up their hands and saying, you know what, I've had it with these miners. I'll just hold the physical X better anyway. So even the precious metal bulls have given up on the miners. And that's why I think it could be a multi-generational bottom coming up here in the next couple weeks.
That's
And
right.
so anyway, when I was talking 1,800 gold, people thought I needed to be
I thought it
institutionalized in
was a
this
little bit. I
environment.
thought it was a little exacerbated. I'm not going to lie.
We could be there by next week.
We'll be there by Monday, considering it's the
Yeah.
end of the quarter and they're
Yeah.
continuing to wind and get all these gold stocks off the books.
I mean, we broke $60 in 3 days here, Mike. Why can't we break another 60 and we're there?
Well, if Amazon can go down 11% or something in a week, certainly gold, which is a little bit more, I think it's more fragile at this point than even Amazon,
Yeah.
if you will.
Amazon,
As the
I tell
doji.
you, that was the short of the last few weeks. It was more like 14%, from 46 to 23. Yeah, 10%. Anyway, it sure happened in a hurry. When I was buying 120 puts, I thought I bought Jan because I thought it was going to take a while. I never, in my wildest dream, thought that we'd be within $5 of the strike
And coach,
in a week and a half.
what was the catalyst for the pullback in these?
3 drives to a top.
That's correct.
The one technical that I didn't like is that Amazon, unlike Microsoft, which made a new all-time high, and Apple, that made a new all-time high, Amazon only retraced and couldn't even take out last August high during this whole parabolic advance. So it was a sell a week sister play.
Well, I remember you telling me, I said, look at Amazon making the run, whatever, a month, whatever it was, a month and a half ago.
I said, what lit it up?
And I said, look at it making a year high, but then you go, what's the all-time high? And that's when you pointed that trade out.
Yeah. Yeah, so
A
that was
lot.
right near the top. I asked you what lit up
I remember the conversation.
Amazon, and you said new 52-week highs.
That's correct.
I said, so anyway, that's about all I have to cover going into the weekend. Maybe we're going to rally here. I still think that we'll have a test of 4,200 that may hold for a day or two or three, or maybe not even, or maybe for a few hours. But this is where there's tiers underneath 4,200. I think you're looking at 3,900. This moving average, a 200-week moving average, is at 39.14. That's my target sometime in October, November.
Right.
And
For
I'm
that,
wrong. And
I'll go now. For
I'm
me,
wrong. And I'm wrong over 4,500, the recent highs. All right, go ahead, buddy. What are you looking at?
for
I'm
me, it
giving
does.
you the
For me, I,
charts.
I, I tune in. How you doing?
How are
For
you?
me, I tune in on the macros. For you, it's the macro situation. I tune in.
I
Uh,
notice financials are up. Are they coming back in with sweeps?
no, they're not. And I'm not even going to my screen. Here's my screen. I'm not even going. There's my
All right.
first screen. Here's my second screen. I'm not even going to look because I'm not going to get distracted by what I'm doing the last couple of days. Everything that I do is lines and numbers. I'll think about it later. For example, this conversation helps. Your video at 9:30 helps every day. It's a macro view, as well as my routine. But you know what? As I share on TGH, what's been going on, velocity of rates is moving up going back 23 years. Let's go back to some TGH stats that I would implore everybody, please, that the most amount of data that I put starts within the week, and it really is dynamic. It doesn't. I mean, the market has played out. It's almost like a short story for the week. It just doesn't stop per day. So go back and watch the videos. Going back to what sentiment, option flow, coaches, macro calls, and calls upon the mega caps, as well as the commodities as well, speaking with gold. So go back and watch that, because there's always another trade, and this, half an hour is not going to define my call, coach's call, or really what we're about. It's leading up to where we are today. So I'll go back in TGH and point out why everything right now is just a bunch of lines and numbers. It's empirical. It's to the end of the quarter. Hold on a second. I'm obviously aware of where the major indices are. I'm aware of, obviously, with the 10-year. Listen, I would be remiss if I'm not pointing or posting out the 20-year, the 10-year, the VIX, and all the other major indices. The actual S&P being the least important, actually, at this moment, in my opinion, without being dramatic. But my point being is, why is everything as empirical as this? Here is short-term composite back at what? It's 5. What happens? There's price action, there's volume, and there's moves. Am I really sure did whatever we're looking at? Did Amazon put in that doji? I don't really. I'm not sure yet. All I know is that a couple of things that I'm looking at, it's more tantamount to really if Microsoft has hit a short-term bottom, whatever stocks you're looking for, it's this. The call ratios going from extremes on a daily basic, on a daily basis. I'm tactically trading those. By the way, this worked out, by the way. Micron was down $5 today at one point. The rest of the sector was positive. AMD opened up positive. What I'm saying is there's even not making a lot of sense within stocks. It used to be where, you almost had a neighborhood of stocks, and you could buy a piece of the drillers or a miner. You know what I mean? It's not even in a neighborhood. It doesn't even work anymore. You got to go and knock it almost like door to door and watch and coddle each of your individual positions. Oracle's up nicely. Yet Microsoft's down a couple of dollars. So there's not really a lot of rest, and maybe I'm really going off on too many stories. But the bottom line for me, it's all about volume.
There's not a lot of harmony within stocks that normally,
and that's fine.
Hold hands and trade together.
But that's fine. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
The more promotion there is, the more I do better. Right now, it's pandemonium. No problem. You know what I mean? I'll act and I'll think later, because stocks like Jabil are having. I should have. We're posting so much data that I can't really go back that much because it doesn't. scroll back to as long as I like. But the bottom line is, I'm just trading, oils, obviously, and I'm just actively trading, Coach. There's the chart on the 10-year. Is it going to overshoot? It's a crowded thought. Everybody's eyes are on it, and I'm sure everybody's eyes are on it there. So that's going to tell a lot. Tell a lot in the meantime. All I keep saying is, let's go back to TradeGATEHub.
If
Actually,
people want rates to come down, they have to cheer for a risk-off move in the market. Otherwise, rates aren't coming down.
Yeah, I'm not even going to get into any other major stuff going on, Coach. Everybody should have their levels and their stocks and their price action. Anything that I post is probably could be irrelevant, within the next 5 to 10 minutes. I'm not really trading for eighths anymore. I know that's it's an old situation, but you know what? I'm trading stocks like the CFLT. I'm trading Square. I'm trading JD. I'm trading Chevron. That's breaking out of highs. You know what? I'll even go to the screen. I'll be a professional. Let's go. Actually, I'll leave it at that. Any other questions I have, just be aware of what we're posting and what's going on. There's Helene, quite the channel in the DXY. Trade the channel.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Turned down. So she'll have it breaking down at 104. Maybe we're not going to go that deep because I don't think this is it in the dollar. I think it's one more pullback, and that's what the metals could rally a little bit. The market could rally risk on, and then one more move up in the dollar to like 109, extreme case 111. So we didn't quite get to the 102 level in euro, got to the 105 level, 105.40. So we could rally to 108 and then puke to 102 one more time. That's what I'm looking for, and I think that's when the buy in the miners and the precious metals will take place, and even in the market. I think maybe we're at 3,900 by that time, looking for 3,900, then a pop to 42, and then the break after that rally. If we have that break to 39, the rally off of that's really going to be important to see what the structure is. If it's just a little ABC, if it's a weak rally, that's going to be important, because if it fails going back to that pivot, 42 is a pivot. Draw a line there. We're above it, you're okay. You're below it, you're not okay. All right, so we're still above it. So the bulls have room to, say this was just a pause that refreshes. I just think there's, when I look at Amazon, that doesn't look like a correction to me. That looks like a panic.
A panic?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, Jim Cramer's not the judge and the jury. 3 days ago, he said there's fear in the market. I don't really even think there's fear in the market. I'm not even looking at my quotes. It doesn't mean
the VIX has given up the 18 level. That's disappointing for
I
the
think
bears.
that's into the weekend. We'll see. It is disappointing. It also broke the 200-day again to the downside.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? I'm just trolling around TGH and watching all the amenities that we have here, including you can even watch your video while we're talking and we're live in the room. I'm not going to. It's just you have to go with price action. All through the charts or anything we talked about this week. Go back and watch TGH. Here, as of now, I'm actively trading. I'm aware that first of all, it feels like a Friday for some reason. I don't know why.
It does.
It does.
And also we're ending the month, Mike, and the monthly low we have was yesterday in the S&Ps. And for there to be a reversal in October, we'll still need to take out yesterday's low and then turn higher to get an October reversal, unless it's an inside month. But normally you have a month like this, put up the monthly candle on S&Ps. Can you do that?
Monthly candle on S&Ps. I'm not on my charts. I'll switch it back to you.
All right, let me do it, because I think it's important. When you're at the end of the week, I look at my weeklies. At the end of the month, I look at my monthlies. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that might be a good idea to see.
Are you in, Coach?
Okay. No, it's saying while the other, you're sharing.
I'm sharing. Hold on. Stop share.
Okay. Okay, here.
What do I do?
All right, nothing.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the S&P.
Fine.
That's a weekly. Here's the monthly.
That's the SPY bar.
Look at that. That's a pretty ugly candle. I think we're holding, oh, that's my wedge. Also, I think we're holding the 9-month comes in at 42.60. So that's what we held, this moving average. So under this moving average, the next one is the 50 week.
That spaghetti indicator, one of those things came out al dente. It's straight as an arrow here. Is that supposed to be like that?
This comes in at 38.5 on the monthly, the 50 month. So, you know, that's not too far off from the 39. Here's the weekly. The weekly has the 39 coming in right here.
They're going.
There it is. Okay. So for this to reverse, after I showed you the monthly, we have to take out this month's low first, which was yesterday's low, and then reverse and start trading higher on the month. So I don't think even if we're going to 4,400, we're starting from yesterday. I still think there's a chance we take out yesterday's low first before we try and rally.
No, yeah, I'm just saying, be careful with these, you know, this the sentiment going into these objects, you know, there are a lot of, you know, be careful, be careful.
Yeah.
I feel a beach ball. I feel a beach ball to a degree coming in next
Yeah,
month.
we're getting a nice pop. So, you know, it's taking advantage of the dollar weakening. Look, dollar's weakening pretty good. Right? The gold's amazing that it's weakening with the
it is,
now
it's
silver. And this is where I want to buy the silver down here, 20 handle. So
Coach, you got to let me listen. You saved me. I got me out of it. I'm not going to lie, man. This would have been turned into you getting me out of gold. I'm not placating. Go back and watch all the videos. I actually had live trading when you told me. This would have turned into like a biotech disaster, a GLD trade. I'd be so pissed. Look at GFI.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, how about that loss? That's a great. I put that. What did I take that off? 12.42.
Yeah, you did it. You did it. You didn't panic on the
earnings.
This was earnings, and we were on the air, and I said, well, maybe we'll rally back into the gap. That's where you sold it. It went up for it went up for a few more days, but now, you know, we're making new lows. Looks like we're going to, you know.
No, it looks like we're going when you told it. So to let me know.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. I won't even think.
All right, buddy. So you know, those are my thoughts going into wrapping up the week. Dollar correction, still looking for yield correction, still think the yen is topping, but the dollar seems weaker than the yen today. So I think we pull back to 104 and then make another move, and then that's it for the dollar. And then you just you get long commodities, except maybe oil.
Correct.
And ride them. You have any feeling on the oils? I mean, do you know one oil bear?
Remember I talked about the neighborhood? There are stocks, there are bad stocks in the neighborhood and they're best of breeds. There are stocks that can't, that would have formed. I don't know why they're bifurcated, but there are a lot. Listen, it's easy to point out the ones that are strong and there's ones that are weak. ExxonMobil is the one. That's it. It has been.
All right. Well,
the other ancillary ones haven't been following as much.
So the best of breeds have been participating in
correct.
the commodity
FANG,
rally.
the older FANG, EOG, Exxon. You know, some of them have been failing, like Devon Energy. There's another one, a short. You know, CPE is another short. Some of them are starting to catch up, but way lagging.
All right. Well, I see Drive 2. It still has huge momentum. So even if it pulls back, I don't think this is a high. All right. Maybe we'll go closer.
I think I'm going to name my next horse 3 Drive.
Yeah. Or use your 3 Drive on the fairway.
But 3 Driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm usually closer to the pin with a 3. If I hit a 3 wood from the fairway, it's a long hole.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, I
So
hope
listen,
people
I'm
learn.
playing it back. Listen, you want to talk about, there's no middle ground, I think, for our opinions. I think you've made it very clear what your long-term view is, and very clear that short-term, we may be doing for a little bit of a bounce. Mine is completely empirical. I'm just trading some volume and some price action for now. So, it's be in the room. The long-term view is certainly not alone. I happen to agree. Short-term view of trading price action is if VIX does die down a little bit, I wouldn't be looking for, any more reversals right now. It certainly is only a couple of hours into the day. This being a Thursday afternoon. So this end of the quarter, some funky things are still going to happen. Micron still, had earnings. Let's see if some things wash out there. It's the only stock that's literally down today in that sector. So that shows you still some positive price action. Costco showed you positive price action. Stocks that pure plays have been actually acting pretty well. They have, CCJ, the BTU chart, they've been doing, oh, Vix, how you doing?
Yeah. So I'm figuring now that we're negating the breakout, I was hoping we'd hold it, that we correct this first wave.
What do you see now, Coach?
16 to 1550.
Wow, really?
And yeah, and then if that would, maybe the S&Ps will be done by then, and then the next wave of 26.
Yeah.
So
Bravo. Thank you for all your listen.
I would have rather had it straight line since I'm in a decaying asset, but what can you do? So
I'm in a
you get,
decaying asset too. It's called a biotech.
yeah, those decay too.
Yeah.
So
Any questions, anyone?
yeah, anything? There's your S&Ps. Probably going to try that 4,400 level.
Yeah, look at this, Coach. Share again. May you? Everybody follows Zero Hedge. Bearish sentiment is anywhere. We're going back for 19 years. Now, this guy, well, he's not saying out of convenience. It's not like he took a position. Bearish sentiment is everywhere. So, you know what? Maybe people buy oils on a pullback. Good resistance here. This is one of the better traders. Base at 43.52. So there are levels here. So trade level SPYs. Here's lose it. Opens new retail student in Germany. Yesterday it was Saudi Arabia. The stock was up 8%. It fell. It collapsed. See how this are? Listen, it's just a trading technique. I'm not saying I'm loading the boat on loosening, but it had good news yesterday. Collapsed because the market got weaker. If it takes out any type of level from yesterday and today, then it might be worth looking at. Another one, some interesting bullish tech flows in Meta and SMCI. Spot Gamma, another great follow, 100,000 followers, a very, not advanced, a little bit, you have to, it's part of the plan. If you're purely a fundamental guy, it might not be it's one of our tools. I trade sentiment, I trade Gamma, I trade option volatility, I trade price volume. I can't really, especially with this movement in the market, I'm not smart enough. I'm not an analyst. I'm trading the tools that I know to the best of my ability. For example, I don't have the best plan. I might trade my plan better. I'm not trying to split the atom, nor am I trying to give you any really things that are really outside the box. I'm trying to give you the major tools. We are trying to give you the major tools that people that I know and my peers that do a lot better than me over almost 30 years at a high level use as well. That's all.
Don't just count your pips, count your blessings. See you in the room with Mike and the crew.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day. Cheers. Have a plan. Know what you're trading. Don't let your trades turn into positions. Cheers.
Adios, Mike.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank
Well
you,
done.
buddy.